Hey guys, what's going on? It's Grant and Shelby here with Gym Talk number 26. So it's a little bit different. Tyler has not woken up yet. I am blaming Tyler on this.
Yep, calling you out.
Calling you out on a Saturday. But anyway, yeah, this is going to be on Tuesday. But so I am drinking C4 Celsius on the go, and then Shelby has...
I've got Celsius Live Fit.
Cellucor. So Celsius Live Fit, and which is roughly around the same amount of milligrams on caffeine. I think mine just has a little bit more different, like beta alanines and a couple of different things in there. But
yeah, this is basically just caffeine.
Yeah, which is still pretty good. So it has a little bit of niacin as well.
I was gonna say it has a proprietary blend.
Yeah.
It's got taurine guarana extract.
Guarana extract is like it's a stimulant.
Glucuronolactone.
I don't know that one.
And then it has caffeine and green tea leaf extract for more caffeine, apparently. 200 milligrams.
Nice.
I had the orange one last time. I haven't had this flavor. It's raspberry acai.
With green tea. And this is like a little bit thicker plastic, which I've never actually had a version of this and like that. It's not carbonated, which that kind of sucks, but how does it taste?
It's good.
Tastes good?
Mm-hmm. Can you try it?
Sure. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I like it. But anyway, I thought what we would talk about, and which it's still kind of relevant to us, is that so one of the podcasts that recently listened to, like a couple weeks ago, they talked about the things that other people would find weird that they actually like. And so, in which you kind of overheard that. They talked about like Muppets, they talked about Broadway musicals, they talked about a lot of other things that people might have found a little bit weirder. So I thought we'd go ahead and talk about just our unique things that we like.
Okay.
So for me personally, and which I know that we've talked a little bit about it on the channel, but like anime has been something that like I've been getting more into again, and I've been getting more into the community because of the fact that it is like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a very niche community, and then on top of that, it's something that I've actually really enjoyed since I was younger. Like I remember memories of like going to my dad's house and watching old VHS like rando animes, and then like of course he'd pass out and then we'd watch the rest of it, and then of course the time that he passed out there would be nudity and everything else in it,
so
and gore.
Convenient for you.
What?
So it's so convenient.
I know, so I'm like, oh well, okay there. But I think my interest in the whole genre sparked from there, and then after that I just started really getting into like the mangas, and then but it was very fascinating because like people thought that was a little weird, and like I'd be like, oh, haven't you watched this show? And they're just like, wait, what is that?
Yeah, at that time that was extremely nerdy, before nerd culture turned into what it is today, which is like,
it was more being a creep than nerdy because of the fact that they're
yeah,
well, like whole weeb genre wasn't even really a huge thing, right? They didn't really categorize people as weebs. It was more of just like, oh, you really like Japanese culture and you really like rando anime and you think all these weird characters are cute and everything else, and which by the way I do not. I don't like that at all. I think that's like the worst part of the genre. More of my favorite style is going to be more of like shonen. It's going to be more of the action-y type. It's going to be more of the complexity of things, and then really intricate art. So, but yeah, I just thought I'd talk about that because of, one, I've been wanting to talk about it more because of it's more of something that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And two, it's something that a lot of people don't really even know of, right? And so anyway, I just wanted to bounce it back off to you.
My weird thing?
Yeah, your weird thing. Or people might find it weird.
The first thing that comes to mind for me, but anymore, it's not weird.
It's makeup?
No, not makeup. Like interest in true crime.
Oh.
It's definitely become really mainstream now. I think having an interest in crime, but for the longest time, I just remember I have like very vivid memories of being in like middle school, and my mom was watching Snapped on, I think it was like the Investigation Discovery Channel,
Which doesn't exist anymore.
yeah, and so like
it's ID, right? It was something
yeah,
like
ID.
that. Yeah.
And
I couldn't stand those shows.
oh my gosh, my mom, she would just watch them like it was a soap opera. And I would just kind of come in curious what she was watching, and I'd sit down and I would just get enthralled in the stories of what drives humans to do the most horrific act known to mankind. Like, what drives them to do that? And so it was shows like that that kind of got me interested. But, you know, Snapped in particular it's what it sounds like. It's a one-time occurrence. This person doesn't have a violent history, but something caused them to snap and they killed somebody.
Yeah.
I became more interested in like the serial killer type mentality of like, what is it that is it something wired wrong in their brains that make them so they crave that escalation of, because it usually is, it's an escalation of, you know, the stereotypical, they start by harming animals and then they go up to, it's usually some sort of like small petty crime like robbery, and then you know, there's usually some form of sexual assault that they go into, and then it turns into murder and murder sprees.
Well, and you've also been really fascinated by the psychological.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like, I don't love the fact that people get murdered brutally. I don't love the fact that people get sexually assaulted and all of that. It's awful. But it's something I can't comprehend, because I could never do something like that. Like, my brain knows that it's wrong, and my brain, I couldn't ever fathom killing another human being.
Yeah.
But some people do it for sport. And I think it's that disconnect. It's like the cognitive dissonance that I feel whenever I, you know, am learning about these people. I don't know. I think that's the draw for me, is the fact that it's something that I will never truly understand, but I would really like to.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, definitely. In which I definitely think that, like, it's gone a little bit more mainstream. You're right there.
Yeah.
And so, like, has there been a time, or was there a time where you felt kind of reserved off of the fact that you enjoyed true crime, or you enjoyed a lot of that other?
I don't know. I think
instances.
I think maybe in the beginning, like I said, around like the middle school, early high school times, whenever like it was just me, like, sitting and watching those shows for hours and hours. It wasn't something I shared with anybody. It was just something I knew I enjoyed. I don't know if I was like reserved about it, but I certainly never brought it up in conversation. You know, oh, I wonder what's for lunch today. Also, did you hear about Ted Bundy's 6th victim? Like, you know, it's not something that you just bring up, but nowadays it is. Nowadays it's something like there's a whole community surrounding it. Like, I mean, these podcasts that I listen to, they go on tours and they fill stadiums with people who just want to hear about true crime stories.
Yeah, true crime, I think, has definitely gone even more to the mainstream of more to the masses than actual other
and
things.
it's, well, to me it's getting a little
over the top,
out of hand, just in the sense that, like, for instance, one of the podcasts that I listen to...
It looks like I'm drinking antifreeze.
It kind of does.
Especially with, like, the bottle and everything.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Like, it looks like I'm drinking antifreeze.
It's like that thick, kind of weird consistency.
Yeah, it's kind of the weird blue, and then, yeah, that's
interesting there. One of the podcasts I was listening to, they were going on tour, And one of the places that they were going to had an active serial killer. Like, the town that they were going to had an active serial killer. And that was a point of excitement for everybody. Like, they celebrated it. And that, to me, is where the problem lies, is whenever you're glorifying murder and murdering. Like, it's not, you shouldn't be excited that serial killers exist. In a perfect world, they wouldn't.
Okay, so there is some sort of relation into anime into that. I can kind of, it's a slippery slope, but it's still there. So like, for instance, one of the things in anime that like has been really popular, and which is really gross, by the way, is a lot of incest.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of incest, and then the thing is that like even in like there's gonna be more and more of those, and like it's so gross, but then like it seems that people are either glorifying it or the industry is saying like this is okay, and I'm just like, the people that actually watch this are, number one, more than likely socially awkward, kind of like me, and then they're actually even more than normal. Gosh, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of people. Oh, there's a father.
They look like a cult.
Yeah,
They're
do
carrying flags.
They do look like a cult, but
oh my god.
But anyway, yeah. So like, it just seems to be a little bit more. I don't know. It's gross, and it's like. It happens a lot in the anime community. Then on top of that, yaois, which yaois mean that like. It's typically a girl that is younger that like the older male population find attractive, and it's really gross. It's absolutely gross. But like I mean, you know, there are definitely some really gross areas there, and so even whenever I'm at work, right, I told my local cubicle and being like, yeah, I like anime, it's really cool and everything else, and some of them are accepting more than others. One of my coworkers, like, if somebody comes over and then they ask me about like what's on my desk or what's all this other stuff, you know, I kind of stutter because of the fact that, again, it's something that's been more reserved into my back, or like on the back of my head, and it's been something that like I don't really talk about, so it's kind of hard for me to talk about it. And so, like, my coworker would immediately tell people, oh, he likes anime. And it's like, okay, so I have to be subjected to this type of person that enjoys some sort of medium other than actually, like, being an actual human being.
Compartmentalized.
Yeah, and like, so there, it happens a lot all the time in the community. And which, surprisingly, the community actually really enjoys that because of the fact that they are alienated towards everybody else, but I don't.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I would assume you're probably part of the... Oh my god, sorry. You're probably part of the majority there.
Yeah.
Just the stuff that you watch and the people that are so passionate about it, those are the ones that are publishing content related to it, so that's all you're exposed to, is people being like, they like to be known as the anime man.
Yeah.
You know, like they like the fact that anime is one of their defining characteristics, and that's not, I would probably say that that's not the majority.
As the anime man, it's actually more geared towards manga than actual anime, but
whatever.
Yeah, and which I've done both too, right? I mean, like, I just enjoy the medium just because of the fact that it's something unique, and the storytelling sometimes is actually even deeper than any other TV show I've actually watched.
Well, and, you know, obviously, with you watching it a lot, I've been exposed to it a lot more than I ever have in my life, and I've even grown an appreciation for it just because it seems like they take more... When compared to like a Western culture television, it seems like there's a lot more care that goes into the creation of these characters and these stories. Like, it seems like people, you can feel that people like put their heart into what they're creating. It's not just to get, you know, to the most views on Netflix.
Right.
Obviously, I'm really new to anime, so I could be completely wrong.
No, you're totally right. Like for instance, Mob Psycho 100, that's the reason why I enjoy it. It's because of how much time and how much effort is put into it. On top of that, how well the story is. So it's like this kid who has psychic powers, and he's very powerful, and then like he fights other psychics later on, and and once you find out that he's a super socially awkward kid, just like almost everybody else in the community, and he's very relatable, and then on top of that, you see his heart get crushed. You see a lot of other things happen with him, and he just continues to grow. And then on top of that, just the animation style and how well it's like communicated to people. It's fantastic, and highly recommend, by the way, if you want to watch, if you want to give anime a try. It's very obscure, but to start off with, that would be a very good one to start off with. So
yeah. Well, anime is just like any other genre of television.
Yeah.
You don't, just because you like anime doesn't mean you like all anime.
Yeah, no.
I think that's
gross.
a huge misconception is like people think that you're into the weeb, the weeb
Yuri
culture.
on Ice. I'm not onto Yuri on Ice.
You're into, you're into the stuff that includes incest. Like, it's not true. Like, there's different genres that people fall into. Like, it's, it is growing, and I would say it's becoming a little bit more accepted nowadays.
Yeah.
But there are still a lot of snap judgments that happen whenever somebody admits to liking anime.
Yeah, and with YouTube and with a lot of other things, I think it's definitely changing, and which there's obviously a lot of people that actually really like it, because you can see the views, you can see a lot of other things on YouTube of that. But
I think that's why those YouTube channels do so well, is because people are so desperate to find like a friend to talk to about these kind of things, and it almost feels like
totally.
those YouTube creators are that friend for
why do
them.
you think I watch so much of it?
Yeah, because it's somebody, it's obviously not a back and forth conversation, but it's like you found that person that you relate to, that you can actually share.
Yeah, that can actually talk about it, and talk about it the way that you know of, right? And so there's a lot of jokes in those that I start laughing at, and you're just like, what?
And I don't
understand it.
Yeah, because it's such a niche. Like, that's why there's so, like, there's just a million, like, micro influencers for, like, makeup.
Yep.
Because I could probably walk into the gym and ask anybody, and they would at least have some understanding of makeup, and they would, probably somewhat enjoy it.
Yep.
Anime's not quite like that, so that's why I feel like there's just, those few and far between creators that do so astronomically well.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
No, totally,
okay.
Totally.
Because, like, makeup, there's just so much out there because people aren't digging for that outlet.
Yeah.
You don't need that outlet because you can talk to anybody about makeup. Anime is not quite like that.
So we actually have to abruptly close this because we have about like 20 seconds left on the memory card. So anyway, we're gonna go in, we're gonna do a workout, we'll probably do a post show actually back at the place.
Yep.
And make sure you actually check in, because that will be an unlisted video. So check it out, make sure you keep your notifications on, and
ring the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Ring
make sure you
bell.
like it, and thank you so much for watching.